In this video, we're going to talk about layers. Understanding layers is very important so you know what you're doing. First, let's get into the basics. All right, you look at your layers history bar right here and your layers toolbar. Channels and paths, we'll get into that a little bit later. All right, so let's start a new file. YouTube cover. That's fine, that'll work. All right, so let's go over here and let's just drop in a few gems that I have going on over here. First, we'll drop in that one. And we could drop in Andrew, maybe. And let's just drop in this one right now. All right, so what we have here is we have 3 different layers. You have your background layer, and you can show and hide that with your, you can show and hide that with the eyeball here. You double click on that. You can show and hide the 4K Ultra one. If you see I have that, I don't actually have a name on that, but if you wanted to, I think you can go ahead and edit the name of this. See, there we go. We call it 4K Ultra HD. So just keep that in mind. You can also edit the names by double clicking on here. All right, your company. All right, so one thing to keep in mind is here's where it comes down to understanding layers. So I dragged in 4K Ultra first, and then I dragged in the company after one, so the company logo after. So you can see it's behind it. The way you could swap these, pretty simple, just like that, all right? As you can see, it's just pretty basic for the most part. All right, one thing to keep in mind here is you can, when you're dragging a layer horizontally, it'll automatically center. It'll automatically center horizontally, and it'll also automatically center vertically. Let's just do one thing. I'm gonna highlight both of these in a second here. I'm gonna drag that right there. One thing you can do is this. If you wanted to center both of these in the same way, you'd go ahead and highlight that, highlight company. So basically highlight them both in the side tree. And then we want to vertically align these just like that. There you go. And then what you can do is you can drag them and center them. And let's say what we wanted to do was duplicate. So I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate the layer, and nothing shows up at first, but what we do is we go ahead and drag it out there. Now we have 2 layers. And I want to go ahead and horizontally align these. Go ahead and go over here. They're now horizontally aligned. Or what you could do, let's say I want to duplicate another one. Highlight all 3 of these. You can evenly space them horizontally. Comes from the last one or the first one to the last one. And then in between there, they have the same spacing in between. We'll go ahead and get rid of these other 2. We can delete them from the sidebar. All right, another thing we can do, if we want to rasterize it, we can go ahead. Actually, what we'll do is just keep another one over here so we have it handy. Keep that right there. Layer, rasterize. This is if you want to add different properties to it. So say I wanted to go ahead and just go ahead and erase that. You have to rasterize it first. And okay, now let's say I just wanted to paint something over it. Say I want to do it to this one. It won't let you do it because you have to rasterize it. Actually, let me highlight that. See, it even prompts you. You have to rasterize this layer first before you can actually go ahead and do things over it. And the last one, which is what I love doing, as you can see, these are 2 different layers. We want to make these 2 different layers into one. So what we do, we highlight them both. Layer, you can either group layers or you can merge layers. I think for the most part, it's kind of the same thing. See that? So we just basically merged. And if we want to go ahead, and you'll see the history bar up here, what we did. If I didn't want to do that, I didn't like what I did, and go ahead and just undo the history. So basically that's all in a nutshell how to understand layers. There's obviously more advanced things, but that's it for today. And we'll see you on the next video.